I was at Target the other day and I overheard a couple that was having a very playful argument with each other. I'm not sure what the argument was about, but I heard one of the partners say to the other, "That's why you love me, because I keep you on your toes. And that's why I love you, because you keep me balanced and grounded." It was a recognition in this playful argument that these two maybe had different ways of doing life. They represented different strands of approaching life or whatever it is that they were playfully arguing about. And yet in that comment, they were able to recognize a real beauty and a gift and a dynamism that came from the fact that they did life differently, that came from the diversity of approaches, the different strands they both were in that relationship. Today, the church celebrates the feast of Saints Peter and Paul, two pillars of the church, and yet both represented different strands of approaching faith and life. The two actually disagreed with each other vehemently initially, at least as it surrounds in Scripture, talks about this, how the church should approach Gentiles or those who weren't initially Jewish. The two disagreed with each other, Peter and Paul. There are many icons. I have one in my home office that have the two embracing each other in a hug, but I think that's overly romanticized. They approached life and faith differently, and yet they were both pillars of this beautiful, paradoxical mystery we call the church. And maybe that's why the church in her wisdom celebrates the feast of both together. Because what we really celebrate is the diversity and the dynamism of the church. That the church is really made up of many strands. And that life and faith aren't meant to be monolithic, but dynamic in diversity and beautiful because of so many different strands and approaches to faith and life. So today, on this feast of Saints Peter and Paul, we're invited to pause and pray and give thanks for the gifts of Peter and Paul and so many other diverse strands of faith and hope and love that have gone into creating this beautiful and sacred mystery and paradox and mess that we call the church. But also, maybe personally, to pause and pray and give thanks to God for those people who keep us on our toes or maybe help us stay grounded and find balance. And ultimately marvel at the beauty of this big tapestry woven together from so many different strands that we call humanity, that we call the church. God's peace and blessings to you all.